What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom coming live at you another episode with True Players Podcast. Coming in here, I won't keep you guys too long on this podcast. Very short. Basically, um, my dreams came true yesterday. Mickey Calloway Mickey Calloway was sent packing by Brody. This era is over with Mickey Calloway as manager of the New York Mets, and it was time to move on from this manager who was not good at managing the team. He wasn't even good at managing the pitching, which he came to the organization as a pitching guru. He did a poor job with the pitching. You would think when you hire somebody because they're a guru in pitching that you would definitely see some improvement in the pitching, but most of the pitchers, except for Jacob DeGrom and Zach Wheeler and Steven Matz, everyone has seemed to digress under the tutelage of Mickey Calloway and whoever was there. David Island was there. Then he got fired and they brought in Phil Regan, and he pretty much got the pitching staff back in order. But this is the reason why Mickey Calloway got fired. Mickey Calloway got fired because he was a poor manager as far as strategy and putting his team in position to win. Truth be told, this Mets team won 86 games because of the players that they have on the team, because of the core players, the players who like to win. You have players who only will accept winning. Losing is not acceptable in that locker room. If you want to ask me who accepts losing in that locker room, you're not going to find a single player in that locker room that will accept that. They said that they played for Mickey. No, these guys played because they wanted to win. They wanted to compete for an opportunity to get into a playoff spot. And if you looked at Pete Alonso's face, or looked at Jeff McNeil's face when they lost any game, or that 6 game losing streak, they were in severe pain when they lost a game. The manager had nothing to do with this. It's just the desire of the players to win a game, to win a series, to win a 3-game series, win 2 out of 3, 11 in a row. This team was heading down an abyss. Had Brody not go into his office and do a tantrum and stuff like that, where would this team would be? Would they have won 86 games? He made some decisions that cost the team some ball games in the regular season. Now, in the postseason, everything gets magnified. Every move you make gets magnified. What would have happened had we actually won the wild card and got into the playoffs? Well, this manager cost us a playoff win. Truth and behold, truth be told, 2015 we had a very good manager managing the Mets in Terry Collins. And to be honest with you, he made decisions in the World Series that cost the Mets the championship. And that was a good manager that made mistakes in the World Series after he outmanaged the two managers previously to get to the World Series. Now I'm not absolving Mickey for that. It only goes to show you how on point you have to be to have a team in the championship, in the playoffs. Play 162 games and make solid decisions. Reason being because every decision you may have either lead to a player's injury or lead a player into a slump or make your players disenfranchised with you as a manager. But he didn't have that problem with his locker room. Thank God, that's the best thing that he got going for him. But by the end of the day, he didn't get the job done. You win 86 games after being 11 games under 500, which means one thing: you should have been in the playoffs this year. You should have won over 90 games this year. That's what it means. And besides, this was not Brody's guy. This was Sandy's guy. So Brody was told to keep this manager, even though he knew damn well this manager was not his manager, knowing that he's probably going to have another possibly losing season, or luckily for Mickey, it wasn't a losing season. He won 10. He won 80. He was 10 games over 500, but he missed the playoffs. Brody said, "Come get us." And this team, according to Brody, the way Brody views things, it was a failure. You know, so it's a failure. But and then you hire Jim Riggleman, who has managerial experience, and he was of no help to Mickey Calloway at all. What the hell was he doing? Cashing a check? It's like Cespedes. And I was listening to the fan earlier today, and I'm hearing people were actually upset that Mickey got fired. Question: what did he do to ensure that he could to manage into next season with the talent that he had on the team? The pitching, the bullpen woes, that was something that cost him. Edwin Diaz digressed when he came to the team. Juris Familia came back from Oakland. And he digressed. Two key guys in that bullpen, in the back of the bullpen. He couldn't fix them. It was like Rick Peters was telling Jim Duquette many years ago that he could fix Victor Zambrano in 5 minutes. So the thing is, guys, you gotta be able to know your entire roster. You gotta know how to put your players in position to win the baseball game. And Mickey has failed to do that. Despite the fact that the team won 86 games, despite the fact. I seen a tweet from Jose Reyes. He was excited about he got fired. He was excited about him getting fired. So I guess something was up. But let me tell you guys something, dear Mets fans, anybody who listens to my podcast. Mickey was a dead man walking when he said in that press conference that he's gonna love the players more than anyone else loved the players. As a head coach, as a manager, you cannot say your job is to love the players more. Your job is to put your players in position to win the game. That is your only objective. If that's your style about coddling players, maybe you should keep that to yourself. But you still got the number one priority is to win, not to love your players. Is to win. So that the minute he said that, when I heard him say that when he was hired, I was like, this guy, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And I'm going back to Terry Collins for 1 second here because let me tell you something. He may have cost the Mets the World Series 2015, but he was the reason why the Mets was in that one game playoff to get into that wild card playoff game in 2016. Because everybody wanted him to quit. Everyone wanted him to trade all the good players, but he stayed true. The mind was focused on winning. And he made moves necessary to put that team in position to win the wild card playoff game against the Giants. Mickey Callaway was never going to do that for this team. Never. Mickey Callaway's a good guy. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is, in this business of professional baseball, your job is to put your team in position to compete in October. And he was not able to do that with the talent that they have on the team. He was not able to do that. But now my question is to you guys: where do the Mets go from here? Who should they hire to become the next manager? My opinion is they got to go with a veteran manager. You can't go with a new guy. I'm hearing stories about Jose Espana. I think that's his name is. He was the bench coach for Houston. I hear they may go with him. I've heard people mention Carlos Beltran. I heard people mentioning Joe Madden, Joe Girardi. I think it should be. That would be my pick if I was your GM. Get guys in order because let me tell you something. The key players that should have put this team over the top, players like Syndergaard and Cespedes. These past 2 years, Those two guys did not play. Did not. Well, first of all, Cespedes didn't even play the past 2 years. So that goes to show you how much respect he had for the manager. Where he goes breaks his foot on his ranch riding a horse. And Syndergaard, he's here causing a fuss because he wants to pitch to Nido or Rene Rivera, putting one of our hottest hitters in Wilson Ramos on the bench when he pitches. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything of him asking for a personal catcher when Terry Collins was managing the team. He pitched whoever Terry put on the field. Not a peep from him. I remember when there was a story when Noah Syndergaard was a rookie in 2015, and he was doing some dumb shit in the cafeteria, and David Wright set him straight. So this guy needs somebody who's going to keep his head straight and focus on baseball, not worry about who's his catch is going to be or whether or not he's going to be traded. And according to Brody, he has already mentioned to the media, unsolicited, that Noah Syndergaard and Edward Diaz will be on the team next year. So he has no excuses to say that he's been distracted by trade rumors at all. So my pick is for the next New York Mets manager would be Joe Girardi. I don't think he's going to be hired because he's a former Yankee manager, and he just after a while he rubs people the wrong way after a while. But this Mets team, the way it's constructed right now, is a win now team. You add a few pieces here and there, strengthen the bullpen, get Cespedes back for the 1 year, get his mind straight for the 1 year, and rock out for this year, for 2020. The Mets got to be in the World Series in 2020 and win it. They have everything they need there. So, if you ask me who I would go first, I'll go with Joe Girardi. Number 2, I would go Joe Madden. Number 3, you guys will be shocked by when I say this, but he has no managerial experience, but I feel he would be a good manager because of his leadership skills. And that guy is David Wright. Why not? Why not David Wright? Just like I mentioned in a previous episode of my podcast about when the Jets was looking for a head coach, I mentioned Chad Pennington. David Wright would be the Chad Pennington of the New York Mets. And unlike Chris Johnson, Fred Wilpon, push come to shove, he will definitely hire David Wright as his manager if it came to that. A proven good player with the Mets, borderline great player with the Mets, who exhibits leadership skills and gets everybody in check and gets everybody to play their best, would be David Wright. And I wouldn't be surprised it's a long shot, guys. If they hire David Wright, I wouldn't be surprised if Willie Randolph is his third base. I'm not his third base, but his bench coach. Would not be surprised. Beltran, people have mentioned him, but I don't think the Mets are going that route because he got a little issue with ownership, so they're not going that route. The Espana guy, I gotta see more. I mean, granted, he's on a good Houston team, but I would like to see more. I prefer a more veteran manager, but if you're gonna go a first time manager, keep it with someone who knows New York media, who understands New York media, understands the pressures of New York media, and knows how to put a team in position to win ball games. We can't have the same debacle we had these past 2 years. Yes, I'm calling the 86 win team a debacle. Because as you can see, if you go and review the entire season, this team should be close to winning. Should be winning at least 95 games. 95 games. Not even going to say 100, but at least 95 games. And it didn't do it. The new manager is going to have to figure out the bullpen, which Girardi gets an A+ on that. He knows how to work a bullpen. You gotta know how to navigate Noah Syndergaard, get him focused, get him right, and have him win 17, 18 games next year with a below 2 ERA. He has that talent. 3, get Cespedes focused on what he has to do to play well next year for the team. And thirdly, a manager that's willing to bring back Jeff McNeil into the infield, so he plays in the infield full time instead of being out in the outfield. That's the type of manager you need. You need a baseball guy, not a pitching guy. You need a baseball guy, a guy who could manage all facets of the baseball diamond, which is bullpen, lineups, double switches, hit and runs, stealing bases, call for steal a base, bunting, everything. You need a baseball guy who could do that, and also who understands the National League, and that's Joe Girardi. That'd be Joe Girardi or Joe Madden. You know. So I'll hit you guys with that. See what you guys swallow that. But Mickey had to go. Mickey had to go, guys. Sorry to say it. He had to go. That mistake is over, and we move on. And our new manager search has started. So I'm gonna sign off on this podcast. I didn't think I was gonna be on here for this long. I'm gonna sign off on this podcast. I will definitely talk to you guys again soon. Gonna give you a preview of Week 5 and my thoughts on the Jets and Giants. I gotta hit you guys up with that. So I'm gonna sign off. Definitely listen to the podcast on JoeyG Radio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeart Radio, and SoundCloud. I'm signing off. I'll hit you guys soon. Peace.